There we
It's
go.
not a TRS. Oh, I'm dating myself. Never mind. God, I remember those things when I was in 6th grade, those big clunky TRS 80s that Radio Shack put out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Those big old things. Yep. Those were fun back in the day when all the family would sit there and smile and wave.
That's pretty much what those things did, too. That's it.
That's it. That's it. That's awesome. All right. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It's not quite as clear as the other one, but it works. The other one, man, I tell you what, that new camera, zing, that sounds good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Shows every pimple you got.
That's it, man. That's it.
I get excited. Now, that's something about me. I get excited about those at 50 because they make me feel young. I know
right.
that sounds silly, but they do. They make me feel good about myself.
That's all right. That's all right. Oh, by the way, I got your information. I talked to my beef jerky guy, and he's going to get a couple bags out. What? Any flavor of particular choice?
What was it? The I want that hot one, and I think it was the dill pickle one.
A dill pickle. Okay, a dill pickle.
Or the dill one. Maybe it was just dill.
Yeah, it is.
I know it's a pickle flavor.
Yep, a dill one, and then which hot one? There's the mango habanero, and then a ghost pepper.
Oh, why did you do that to me? Now you're gonna make me. I'll do the mango.
Mango. It's good, man. Mango habanero.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Have you tried the ghost pepper?
I have. It's really good.
Is it super hot or is it just really flavorful?
It's got a bite to it. It does got a bite,
I like the bite.
but it is very flavorful. It's not just heat that where you can't taste anything.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but same with the mango. Like you bite into this one and you taste mostly mango, and then like the aftertaste is like that habanero that just kind of lingers in the back of your throat.
Oh, that's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
I appreciate this. Thank you.
You betcha, man. No, I appreciate what you do for the show and in helping out so much. All right.
So does that 14, what's the number on that frequency that you have on that sign?
Which one?
The KQ, oh man, why can't I remember the name?
KQAM?
Yeah, does it got a pretty good signal on it?
Yeah, that's my flagship here in Wichita. That's it's 5,000 watts, so it's not massive, but it covers Wichita
That's
and
good.
most of South Central Kansas. So it's got about you can drive about an hour outside of town and still pick it up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I used to, whenever I got into this business, I had a 250 watt station, and that thing could carry. I mean, those 250 watts went far.
Oh, sure, yeah, especially with AM, man. Those just travel.
Yeah.
The AM travels for sure.
So whenever it down powers at night, or does it down power at night? Does
Yes.
it have a good signal?
Yeah, it down powers to 1,000 at night.
Oh man, because a lot of those AMs, whenever it down powers, it can be a parking lot signal.
Yeah, no, it's still about 1,000 watts, so you can still get it around town for Wichita for sure.
Oh, that's sweet.
Heck yeah, man. Yep, it's a good one. All right. I think we're good. I think we're ready. We're going to have some fun.
I think so. I'm ready.
Your
I think
SRN
so.
program begins in 60 seconds.
All right, everybody on the live stream. We are up and going on the live stream. We almost were not, but we got it going, by golly. We would not let you down. It's the new year, and we're going to have some fun. Welcome into it. Bottom of the hour, we're going to have Jonathan Butcher on the show, author of the book, The Polarization Myth. Are we really as divided as what the media and current events try to tell us? We'll get to some of that. Also, some breaking news going on this weekend. Trump
Your SRN
laying down the law,
program
having some new
begins in
plans for the
30
nation.
seconds.
Make sure for the video stream, like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing for a weekend edition. And I should probably share out the video feed too. That would probably help. Probably help.
Your SRN program begins in 10 seconds. Your SRN program will begin in 5, 4.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, in the Hooser Media Network studios, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Why, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is another weekend edition of the Voice of Reason. My name's Andy Hooser. Hey, great to have you again. Hey, you made it through. I want you to, before anything else, pat yourself on the back. You made it through the first full work week of 2026, which is very difficult after the holidays, you had like 2 or 3 weeks off. You were just getting into the mode of relaxation. And then, boom, baby, we hit a brand new year, and it was a first full work week. So you made it. You can celebrate, pat yourself on the back. Well done. And way to go on that one.
Winning.
Which is kind of exciting. So we're back at it, ready to rock and roll as well. It is a huge and bigly, as Donald Trump would say, year ahead of us with the congressional process going on right now. The news out of the Trump administration that never seems to end. We have midterm elections and a heck of a lot more. We'll be covering all of it on the program throughout the year. And welcome aboard as usual. Broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas in the Hooser Media Network studios. But we are all over the country on so many great radio partners, and we get more each and every weekend. Welcome aboard. Doing our thing.
We'll do it live.
That's right. Do it like we do every single weekend here on the program. Dave, our great producer down in Dallas. What's up, my friend? We have our executive producer, Trumpy Bear, in studio. Cornelius, our green-headed alien intern that is sitting behind me on the shelf watching us. And we have Dave, I'm failing already. I did not turn on the eyes of our brand new partner on the show. Yes, turn on the eyes. He's watching me. He's sitting behind me as well. A new alien head that's part of the program. We'll have to give him a name and introduce him relatively soon. A lot to get to for sure this weekend. Jonathan Butcher will be on the program. He is the author of the book, The Polarization Myth. And we talk about, are we really as polarized and divided as a nation as what the media tells us? Now, if you're on social media, you can obviously see that we are very divided and polarized. We can see with the news that happened this week, the shooting up in Minneapolis with ICE and with the Trump administration and all the other hatred, the ongoing violence and riots and craziness, trying to fight tyranny in the United States. Is it working? Not really. Not really, because, well, there is no tyranny in the United States right now. So they can continue to get angry all they want to, but it's not really doing a whole lot. Also, as we move through the year and the topics come and go and they ebb and flow and we have different topical talking points from both sides of the aisle, to be honest, about what their campaign platforms may look like, we're going to start hearing phrases pop up in the media. And we're going to hear phrases pop up from elected officials where that's going to be their talking points. And one issue that I got to give major props to the Trump administration, to J.D. Vance, and to others, is that we take, right now at least, we're getting better as a Republican Party, taking the talking points from Democrats, using them for the campaign trail, and solving those issues before they even have a chance to build a platform and say that's what they're going to do on the campaign trail. Well done, and I give you major props. We'll cover that in just a moment. For example, what's the term, Dave, that we've been hearing? Affordability, right? And that's where we go to with our...
It's your week in review.
I want to go to just a moment to New York City, because that's where the term really came from. Zohran Mamdani, newly elected mayor, newly sworn in mayor for New York City, the socialism that he's going to be advocating. Apparently, we're not just about free groceries. We're not just about free buses. We're not just about pawning off property taxes to rich white communities because we need to redistribute the wealth. Even his own committee people and people within the administration now saying that the idea of property ownership is a white supremacy mindset. That's a little weird. This week, he was out on the streets talking to folk, trying to be regular with the normal average American out there in New York City, and said that he's willing to now give up free goodies in other factors as well.
I had a New Yorker the other day come up to me and ask me if there was any way I could help him get World Cup tickets, because he was saying that the cost that he saw for a game was $600. Right? This is increasingly out of reach. We have made what used to be a working class game into a luxury experience. And there are too many for whom it doesn't matter where the World Cup is being played in the world, they know where they're going to watch it. It's TV. And we want to ensure that there are more experiences available.
Dave, did you know? I want free World Cup tickets. So therefore, Zohran Mamdani, come on, man, we need to make the World Cup more affordable. Is that the campaign that we're doing now? Make the World Cup more affordable to go and actually appreciate in person. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do it, but I guess we just give everything away. We want free goodies. We want socialism. Just give the free goodies away. Now, Trump, in all of his mastermind, that's where we go to with our What's Trending.
It's your week in review.
Donald Trump is addressing the issue of affordability. We wrap up this week with a statement on the Truth Social of him making a comment on, what was it, on Friday? Where he made the post saying that we will potentially be capping interest rates on credit cards. That's pretty wild, man. That's a whole nother level. Here's what he had to say. Please be informed that we will no longer let the American public be ripped off by credit card companies that are charging interest rates 20 to 30% and even more, which festered unimpeded during the sleepy Joe Biden administration. Affordability, all in caps, effective January 20th. I, as President of the United States, am calling for a one-year cap on credit card interest rates of 10%. Coincidentally, the January 20th date will coincide with the one-year anniversary of the historic and very successful Trump administration. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again, President Donald J. Trump. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, capping credit cards at 10%, interesting concept. Now, I want to break it down for just a moment because, again, the term affordability was coined by the Democrats. Donald Trump says it's a fake news, takes the term, and then begins to fix it. He encourages Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to purchase $200 billion in mortgage bonds this week. That's going to help lower prices of homes in housing, which is one of the staples of the platform or the building platform of the Democrat Party right now. Now we hear about capping interest on credit cards. It's all great news. As conservatives, we're a little bit concerned, and I can hear some of the purists out there, some of the never-Trumper conservatives saying, wait a second, Andy, you're manipulating the markets. And that's true. And that's not something that we necessarily like. We don't like the manipulation of the private sector. We want public to be public. We want private to be private. On the other front, this could be, and I'm hoping, just like with Trump RX and some of the other initiatives that Trump has made, being the business guy that he is, temporarily manipulating markets until we can fix this long term. Now, I've called for a long time of the capping of interest rates, not only for credit cards, but particularly for student loans. And some of us on the younger generation flavor that have a lot of student loans, I'm still battling, I don't know, $40,000, $50,000 in mine that I'm slowly paying down myself. It was up to 88 at one point. I've cut that more than half as I continue to pay that down. Some of those out absolutely ridiculous. I had one at a 13% interest rate. 13% on a $20,000 student loan. Had no backing, had nothing for equity in it. It was just, you're a student, let's just give you one, and let's maybe get a cosigner with your parents, and then boom, we'll slap a 13% interest rate on that. Dave, jump on here for just a moment. If you're trying to better yourself in education, and I get it, I will self-admit I was the dumbest kid when it came to financial smarts as a kid. I just thought that's what you do. Unfortunately, my parents never taught me financial education. But if you had the education smarts, let's say as a 40, 50-year-old, when you're 18 years old going into college, Dave, would you take out a $20,000 student loan with a 13% interest rate with no equity behind it?
No.
No. That's stupid.
Well, I would at that age because I was stupid too.
That's it. We're just used to it. That's what you do, right? That's just the normal way you operate. You take out the loan. You think, I'm going to pay it back. My mindset was everybody does it. Obviously, it's going to be easy to pay back. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it later. Well, let's see. I'm 36, 37 now. I don't even remember. Let's say 20 years, and I started college. I've been paying on it for 20 years. I've actually paid more in the interest on the student loan than actually have paid down the balance. That's how bad it is. I paid like $30,000 over a 20-year period on interest payments, and I still have like $18,000 on that particular student loan to go. That's stupid. That's what I call a major failure. And it's because I did not have any financial backing. Why don't we teach financial literacy in high school? To be like, hey, that's a really stupid idea. Donald Trump now, I think Congress needs to act on these types of things. Student loans probably should be never more than 3%. And I think this is something that both sides of the aisle could probably come together on in a bipartisan manner. Let's come together and cap all student loans no more at 3%. It's supposed to be an investment for higher education, for you to excel in your career on whatever you want to do, even though I think needs to be major reforms in higher education in the first place, and really reform what they do. But if we are going to have student loans, then cap it at 3%. I think these companies, although they are private businesses, there's essentially a major monopoly, which is one of the roles the government, per the Constitution, is supposed to prevent, which is monopolies, should probably come in and cap student loans and interest rates on credit cards and other things as well. Because they're taking advantage of the people. There's nothing we can do about it. We're completely helpless. We have zero control over them other than walking away from the system. And you can listen to Dave Ramsey on how to do that, on how to pay off the debt, cut up the credit cards, and be done with it. But realistically, how difficult is that to do in society today? Now, that being said, that leads into the affordability issue. But Congress has to act on a lot of this. And I believe if Republicans are going to succeed in the midterm elections, they have to start acting on codifying the Trump administration's agenda and working on things that Donald Trump, like he's going to be calling for on January 20th, which is to lower interest rates, at least for a year on credit card interest, that leads to the federal budget. Not sure if you're aware or not, even though there has been a lot going on with the protests and ICE shootings and rounding up of illegal aliens and all these other garbage that's going on, that there has been a budgetary process. And in fact, we're now almost 3 weeks away from the end of the month, which means if we don't finish the 12 appropriation bills, we could see another government shutdown. And you know how well that works out when we shut down the government.
We're all gonna die because of you!
That's really where the hysteria comes from the media and the left side of the aisle. Now, I don't think it's going to be as bad as what we saw in October, but we have passed this week 3 more of the appropriation bills in what they're calling a mini omnibus package, where I believe the EPA, many of the different government agencies, the Department of Justice all got funded this week. We didn't hear a whole lot of those bills. Ilhan Omar, congresswoman from the state of Minnesota, who's under investigation, by the way, had the huevos, and this is where the high society Democrats feel they can get away with whatever they want to. While they're under investigation, and we have investigations on massive amounts of fraud up to the sums of near $8 to $9 billion in the state of Minnesota alone, Ilhan Omar actually tried to put in a bill in the appropriations process to fund a new Somali community project by the federal government through grants. Now, after everything that came to light, they ended up taking that out, thankfully. But the fact that she tried to put it in there, I think is a telltale sign of how crazy these individuals actually are. Donald Trump, on the other hand, while we continue to work on the appropriations process, has advocated for a $1.5 trillion military budget. That is a $500 billion increase compared to what the military is at right now. That's roughly $1 trillion, and said that he wants the strongest, most technologically advanced military on the face of the earth. And he says that we can do that while we continue to cut spending and get our budget under control. Let me see if I can find the Truth Social post on this again, because I think it's interesting. And for conservatives, we're kind of scratching our heads a little bit and saying, is this a good idea? Is it something that we need to do? But he goes on to say that he wants his, quote, dream military that's been long entitled to, and most importantly, that will keep us safe and secure regardless of any foe in the world. If it weren't for the tremendous number of beings produced by tariffs from other countries, many of which in the past have ripped off the United States, I would stay at the $1 trillion number. But because of tariffs and the tremendous income that they bring, amounts being generated, they would have been unthinkable in the past. Joe Biden administration, worst president in history, were unable to easily hit the $1.5 trillion number as they talk about the income that they bring in and we can generate, and we can increase military and pay off debt. Do we need it? I'd really like your thoughts on that. Go to HooserReason.com, send me a message, or on our social media at Hoosier Reason. Should we bump up our spending on budget of military compared to the rest of the federal budget while we get our budget under control?
This is the voice of reason with Andy Hoosier.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. REASON. Again, PatriotMobile.com and use the promo code REASON. Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did two guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
It's your Patriot on the Prairie. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, just welcome back into the program. Great to have you. I am getting some messages offline about the idea for the capping the credit card interest rate, saying, wait a second, Andy, you want price controls? I thought you weren't for that. You're absolutely right, and we'll get to that here in just a minute because you bring up a really great point, and I'm glad you asked that. We'll do that in a second. I want to tell you about my friends over at J&S Smoked Snacks. We are after the holidays, and we are ready to do our New Year's resolutions. If we're a week in, if you've given up on your New Year's resolution already, come on, man. Come on. You can do it better than that. Get into shape, lose some weight, do whatever you're going to do, financially change yourself, romantically, career-wise, whatever it is, make it happen. Don't give up so easily. You can keep on going, which means if you're trying to cut back on some of the sweets or some of the overly processed foods, then this is the perfect way to do it. J&S Smoked Snacks, they have the beef jerky for you. This is not your gas station beef jerky. It is made with real meat, it's made with real seasonings, and it's really, really good, and you have an opportunity for it. Go to jssmokesnacks.com, jssmokesnacks.com. You can pick out, for my listeners alone, you can pick out any 4 bags of beef jerky that you want to by using the promo code REASON, and you can get it for $47.45. Get the innuendo, Donald Trump, $47.45. Yeah, any 4 bags, $47.45 by using the promo code REASON. They have, and Dave, you and I were talking off the air a little bit before the show started about some that you're going to try. They have a brand new ghost pepper, which is really hot. They also have the mango habanero. They have teriyaki. They have dill, which is apparently their #1 seller. They have so many different flavors. Go and check it out, jssmokesnacks.com, and use the promo code REASON. All right. The interest rates for the credit cards for just a moment. Yes, you're right. I hear the news. Andy, why are you advocating for price control from the president? And if you remember during the Biden administration, when food prices were going up because Joe Biden's economy sucked and he was cutting off the heads of 100 million plus chickens around the world around the country because of the avian influenza and all this other garbage, the bird flu that was going around, and the gas prices were going up, which means every food was going up. The grocery store prices were going up. The economy tanked under Joe Biden. And even the Democrats can't deny it because a month into Donald Trump, they're like, hey, why is everything so expensive? Like, they already tried to throw it under for Donald Trump, and it wasn't his fault. It was Joe Biden in the 4 years of the 30% increase in inflation over a 4-year period in a cumulative fashion. That's kind of insane. I don't want price control because if you remember, Joe Biden was trying to do price control of grocery stores. We're going to cap the amount of price that you can buy food for at a grocery store, which means grocery stores would have lost profit. They would have gone down. We would have had government grocery stores, and we would turn into what we're seeing with Zoran Mamdani in New York right now with nothing but a bunch of government-run grocery stores that's going to turn out really, really bad for them. We don't want that, which is why Donald Trump isn't advocating for that. If you read the tweet or the Truth Social, he said he's calling for a cap of 10% on interest for a year, which means, what does that mean? Oh, yeah, that means Congress. Hey, Congress, you should probably do something. And when you have a monopoly between a couple companies that run the interest rates, that run the credit cards, that you have this dominance between, 2, 3, maybe 4 different credit card companies in the country, you have a monopoly. And the one role, there's a few duties the Constitution's giving the federal government to oversee. That is interstate commerce between states and ensuring that there are no monopolies. We need to break this up. There is zero reason why any company would be charging astronomical amounts of interest rates. And the amount of ridiculous money that they're paying. And either government acts on that to break it up and to put some regulation on it, or we stop using it. And just throwing it out there with how many people have credit card household debt right now, probably not going to happen anytime soon to hold the company accountable by the private sector and say, we're just not going to open up credit cards or use credit cards any longer and crash the industry. It's not going to happen. It's just not. We have to cap it. But Donald Trump's not doing it unilaterally. He's calling on Congress to do it by saying by January 20th, he's calling for the capping of interest rates. That's my take on it because he's not trying to be a dictator here. He didn't say he was going to be a dictator. Got to be clear on what he's saying here. I would be opposed if he's saying, I'm just going to randomly pull a number out of my you-know-what and make a decision too. That's not what he's doing. All right, we'll shift gears. We'll talk with Jonathan Butcher when we come back around the corner for your Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Andy's latest product.
Hi, it's your Voice of Reason product spokesperson.
Yes, sir. 30 minutes down already.
The celebration of the end of the Donald Trump presidency is ongoing. The problem is that Joe Biden may not have been the candidate for you to get the things done you wanted to get done.
I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
But now I'm here to say, don't worry. Your concerns about a dementia-ridden racist elite are just minutes away from disappearing with our all-new Voice of Reason product. Now introducing the Voice of Reason's Biden Basement Starter Pack. Now, just 1 year into the Biden administration is the perfect time to get your Biden Basement Starter Pack and finally begin to understand the mind of such an unrecognized genius.
The Biden Basement Starter Pack includes your Joe Biden decoder ring.
Now you can truly understand the secret messages that Joe Biden was really sending to his supporters when other people thought it was just gibberish.
That saves billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of $2.3 billion $500 billion in savings and
I think your new little creature you have looks like a slee stack. I'm going to show you a picture and see what you think.
Your progressive white supremacy exemption card.
Let's be honest, you're just as much of a racist white supremacist as the evil conservatives that you hate, but with your white supremacy exemption card, you're completely immune from the transparency and accountability of racial comments or thoughts that you may have, giving you more time to focus on destroying Republicans for the evil, close-minded bigots that you know that they are.
what you
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
don't know,
All right. Maybe that's
unlike
where
the
they got it
African
from.
American community,
Maybe so. That's Land of the Lost. The older audience might know who that is or know what that is, but the 20-year-olds are going to go, what the heck is that?
Is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Your brand new crisp but $100 bill.
If Nazi Republicans won't let you pass universal basic income, or as we like to call it, child tax credits, the next best thing is a newly printed bill with absolutely zero value. Show it to your right-wing friends and remind them that you're entitled to that cash just for existing. Plus, when the economy you create is so good that everything doubles in price from inflation, you'll be prepared.
well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth, $1.4 trillion worth. Out of $1.4 billion. It's hard to even say it, it's so much. And by the way, it's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years.
Also enjoy your crime immunity card.
Sure, crime rates and hate crimes around the nation are rising all over the place, but now with your crime immunity card, you'll be completely protected from criminals taking advantage of the loosening liberal crime laws. Just show your crime immunity card to any criminal that you may come across and let them know that you support their movement to balance out injustices in society. Who needs a gun for protection when you have your crime immunity card? It's all included in your Biden Basement Starter Pack that's available right now.
But wait, there's more.
Order now and get the latest item that's now included in your Biden Basement Starter Pack. Now introducing your all-new, never-before-used crack pipe.
Say what?
Freshly minted from the Department of Health and Human Services, the Biden crack pipe will help with all your injustices in your life and raise your government-valued equity. It's the perfect way to forget all about the worries and gaps of the Biden administration and continue to be that leading example of leadership in the progressive movement. And now you can get your Biden crack pipe in multiple different styles and colors. And for a limited time only, when you purchase your Biden Basement Starter Pack with your new Biden crack pipe, you can get your own personalized handwritten letter with tips and tricks on the best way to use your crack pipe directly from the aficionado himself, Hunter Biden.
Say what?
It's 4 incredible products, your Biden crack pipe and your personalized Hunter Biden letter, all for one great low price. Take your support for the Democrat Party and the Biden administration to another level with the Voice of Reason's Biden Basement Starter Pack. Low promotional price does not include inflational adjustments. Your Biden Basement Starter Pack may be delayed in shipping due to supply chain issues caused by successful Biden economic policy and current COVID-19
Find more
mandates.
products from the Voice of Reason online at HooserReason.com.
Looking for more reason? Well, now you can get even more content from the Voice of Reason through our Patreon site. It's your exclusive membership for being the ultimate Hoosier-holic. On our Patreon, you'll get additional interviews and content that we don't get to air on the radio, behind-the-scenes action from the Hoosier Media Network, plus one-on-one video streams where you can catch up with me, guests of the show, and other great Voice of Reason supporters. Plus, you can also support the show by checking out our gear and swag. Find the link on our website at HoosierReason.com. Again, that's HoosierReason.com. Become the ultimate Hoosier-holic.
Truth, reason,
In common sense.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
All right, welcome back to the program. Great to have you here as usual for our weekend edition of the program. We've been focusing a lot of attention lately on upcoming midterm elections, the platform of the Republican and Democrat parties. How are they going to approach the upcoming midterms, especially for the 250th birthday of the nation? Who's going to be the most patriotic party in this year? But there's a lot of polarization, obviously. There's a lot of division, obviously. There's a lot of political violence that's becoming normalized in society, which really breaks my heart. How do we fix some of those issues? That's what we do with our next guest on the program. Don't want to waste any time as we go to our...
Let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
Dang straight. Really happy to have on the program. He is author of the new book, The Polarization Myth, America's Surprising Consensus on Race, Schools, and Sex. Really happy to have on the show Mr. Jonathan Butcher. John, how are you, my friend?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on the show very much. All right, here's the big $30,000 question. Are we more polarized now than we've ever been, or is it just a mirage that we've seen from the mainstream media wanting to fuel the polarization in this nation? Where are we at as a culture right now, do you think?
Well, exactly. I think those who call themselves experts in the mainstream media, in academia, they tell us over and over again that we're polarized because elections may be close or because there is a supposed disagreement over issues related to race and, quote, gender. But in reality, Americans don't like the idea of racial preferences, and a survey in my book, The Polarization Myth, found that, right? The same would go for boys using girls' private spaces, putting books with explicit sex acts on school library shelves. There were a number of hot-button questions that I asked my respondents for my book, and we found that Americans have a lot of common sense on these issues.
It's a really good piece of good news. Then why do you think that that is right now at least the major platform for one political party? The Democrats right now, that's all they have. That's all they run on. They talk about, the DEI within higher education. They talk about transgender bathrooms. They get mad when we discuss it on our side and say that we just don't care about it. We don't want to hear about it any longer. But yet at the same time, that seems to be like the basis of their platform for a political party right now.
Yeah, they seem to be trying to sell conflict. I mean, the reality is that 52% of respondents from my survey found that we don't want racial preferences used in higher education, right? We don't want students to be admitted to college based on the color of their skin. And that has big implications for the rest of the world, right? Because it also goes into who's hired as professors or who's hired as staff at universities. And universities are, in many ways, they're big companies, right? And big companies are watching what the Trump administration is doing right now when they issue executive orders saying that we shouldn't use DEI, right? DEI is not going to be a part of the federal workforce, or that DEI is going to be investigated in private companies because it does, in fact, violate civil rights laws. By the same token, right, 60% of the respondents to my survey said that they don't want children to be able to go to school and say, I was born in the wrong body, and just be affirmed. So, these are the kinds of things that we need to be telling these, quote, experts.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Do we need additional protections under like a Title IX protection that we have that we originally created for women to make sure there were, a proper place for athletics and for certain, whatever for women within the Title IX protections? Then under the Biden administration, we've seen this expansion to the entire LGBTQ community and all the trans individuals. And now we've essentially removed rights from women to allow men who want to be women to go in and just kind of dominate these areas. And when we repeal these, they now say that these communities are vulnerable and that we're attacking them because there are no super specific protections for them. Do we need that, John? Is that what we need in society?
Well, fortunately, the Biden administration's attempt failed. It got caught up in court, and it's going to die.
Yeah.
And so what we have with Title IX now is what it should have been, the way it should be implemented, right? It is protection for women and girls, not just in sports, but in education generally, and that should be enforced. I expect that the Trump administration will continue to enforce that in the same way that they're going to enforce civil rights laws at the federal level. And even more encouraging is that state lawmakers are also prohibiting the use of taxpayer spending on DEI programs. This is happening. I mean, almost half of U.S. states have something that's prohibiting DEI. And so this is really, in the civil rights landscape, I think we're in a very powerful place right now where we are protecting individuals and doing what the Civil Rights Act was meant to do originally.
Yeah, it's a really great point. So here's the next question for you, John. Is this leading to political violence? If most Americans don't see this as a major issue because it's really dumb, we're not going to divide ourselves on this issue, it's not a big factor for individuals within communities, but yet the media continues to fuel this on, is that what's leading to a lot of political violence, not just in the nation, but around the world? We had the political assassination attempt against Donald Trump, whether that was related to this issue or not, we don't know. It seems like maybe it was related to the issue with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, just a few months ago. Then we have the attack on Berlin, Germany, where there was an activist that actually left 45,000 people without power because of an arson attack. It seems like there's a lot of political violence. How much of that do you think is actually related to these identity politics issues?
Well, I think it's closely related, but I would also say that this is on the fringe, especially in the United States. I do not think that these folks doing these terrible acts represent even most of those on the left, because in my book, as I found, there are those even on the left, who are opposed to these radical gender ideology movements. And I think that those who are committing, these terrible acts of violence, they don't represent anyone except the fringe, right? I mean, they only representing a very wild, radical side, and I think there's a lot of room for agreement here on the right and left on these issues.
Yeah,
and I think it wasn't just my survey that finds it. I mean, I think other surveys support it too.
Yeah, and that's encouraging. That's really encouraging when we hear, like you said, with the mainstream media, so much divisiveness that they're intending to try and fuel up for sure. We're talking with Jonathan Butcher, author of the book The Polarization Myth: America's Surprising Consensus on Race, Schools, and Sex. Throughout your time investigating, talking to individuals, taking these surveys, have you seen more of an engagement, more of an interest from parents as we talk about the children in the public education system, middle school, high school, that go in and say, I'm confused? The schools try and advocate and encourage the kid to do some type of transgender operation or identify as something else or use pronouns. Have you seen an increase of interest in activism or engagement with parents wanting to be involved in that system to make sure it does not happen with their children?
Yeah, absolutely have. In fact, I interviewed a woman in California who led an effort to put something on the ballot to help to prevent this kind of radical transgender activity. And she told me, and when I was talking to her, that she was, had been a lifetime Democrat, had voted on the left her whole life, but when she saw what was happening to her daughter, right, being, quote, socially affirmed at school, it was terrifying. And she was able, with some patience and some help, she was able to counsel her daughter out of it. And look, I've seen numbers as high as 60, 70, 90% of those who say they are born in the wrong body when they are young children, they grow out of it as they move through puberty and enter their 20s.
Yeah.
It is very, very common, right, that this runs its course. Fortunately, there are other things that parents want. They want civics and virtue taught in public schools today. They want civics to be emphasized more. We saw that in high numbers in my survey. So I think there's a lot of interest today to reshape curriculum.
Yeah, that would be really good news. Let's go to the side of the race for just a moment. Let's talk about affirmative action. That's been starting to be repealed along with the rest of the DEI. One of the controversial pieces we've seen this past year has been the ending of affirmative action when it comes to what students are going into higher education. From what you've seen in your polls as well, popular idea, not popular, especially with some communities that say that they're victims of not having access to getting into higher education. And with this going to the wayside, is this the way for us to go?
Well, in my survey and in others that ask, what do you want to be considered when students apply to higher education, it is GPA and grades that they want. It is never the case that simply race ever makes it as one of the top two, even the top 3 or 4 items that people want considered. I talked to a college president who he was the superintendent in Kentucky for some years before he moved to Houghton College up in New York. And he told me college presidents are talking about this stuff all the time. I mean, how to navigate this DEI landscape. He himself said, look, we want children, we want our students to be judged based on how hard they work. We don't want to be creating people who are advocates for identity politics. And it was just really refreshing to hear a college president say that. And I think that with what's happened, like I was saying, with the state laws prohibiting the use of DEI in universities, I think we're really turning a corner on this issue.
That's exciting. There is some pushback. We've seen some. I know now some higher universities are being investigated because they've reformed or reshaped or just reworded what their DEI policy is to really focus on those identity politics again. Why do you think they're hanging on to this so desperately? Is it because of money? Is it just because of an ideology? But why are some universities having a hard time getting rid of this idea?
Well, I think for 20 plus years, there's been no opposition to just hiring and creating these DEI infrastructures in universities. I will say I wrote a piece with a colleague last fall where we pointed out some of the examples of universities that were just renaming DEI. One of them happened to be Clemson University, and when we named them specifically in our paper, there was a news report just days later that said that they closed their DEI office after we pointed that out. And some of it is just rooting it out and finding it because there's no defense for it. Universities cannot defend the use of racial preferences in either student admissions or in hiring and promotion practices. So I think once they realize that, this is a violation of civil rights law and that the Trump administration, as well as state lawmakers, are simply not going to allow it to happen, they'll remove it on their own rather than go through what Harvard and Columbia have gone through, which is, public embarrassment and hundreds of millions of dollars of suspended funds and that kind of retaliation.
Well, I really hope so. And we're seeing some of those investigations in certain universities, and hopefully they'll start cleaning up their act here very soon. Let's take a break here real quick. We are chatting with Jonathan Butcher. He's the author of The Polarization Myth, America's Surprising Consensus on Race, Schools, and Sex. When we come back, John, I want to talk about the polarization that we are seeing and how we can maybe start having a dialogue and conversation again with those on the other side of the aisle. Is it possible? And is this the opportunity to do so? We'll do that right around the corner for your weekend edition of The Voice of Reason. So much more to get to. One more segment left for this hour. Don't go anywhere.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, DC's broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
As you know, I'm always looking for a good snack, but it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But now that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. I promise you'll be addicted. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
For more information, go to takeonesmallstep.com. Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy The Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all the social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with The Voice of Reason.
Where Hoosierholics gather every week. This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Yeah, welcome back to it. Show flying right on by as usual as we get ready to wrap up this hour of the program. So much to cover and talk about. By the way, if you missed the newsletter this past week, then what the heck are you waiting for? Sign up to our website at HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. You can see some new features on there, including the fun games that we're going to be having on the program and on our website, again, at HooserReason.com. So don't miss a lot of that one. Interesting conversation right now. We're talking about the polarization of the nation. How do we bring people back together? Or are we really, for the most part, really together already, even though we may have some disagreements, but it's just the radicals that are out there causing issues and causing problems. We're chatting with Jonathan Butcher. He's the author of the book, The Polarization Myth, America's Surprising Consensus on Race, Schools, and Sex. We've talked a lot about identity politics, but John, let's go out a little bit further. Let's get away from the identity politics for just a moment. And as you mentioned, for the most part, most Americans agree on most of these issues. That's really dumb. We're not going to transition kids. We don't want to focus on DEI and identity politics. We just don't want to deal with that garbage with affirmative action and beyond. But I want to talk about the fringe that is causing an issue and that do actually create violence. The assassination attempt against Donald Trump, the assassination that did happen successfully, unfortunately, against Charlie Kirk, that seemed like it was allegedly tied to a DEI or some type of identity politics victimization kind of mindset. How do we get away from those? And for the ones that do buy into the fear mongering of the mainstream media, how do we rid society of that type of issue to make sure that we feel more comfortable, even if we disagree politically on issues?
Well, point out the groups that are pushing this, and teachers' unions are right at the top of the list, right? The NEA and the AFT, they take positions on all sorts of things outside of education, right? Their objective is to be a political action group. It is not to promote the working conditions of their members, okay? Most of their budgets are used for political purposes. A small fraction is used to improve the working conditions of teachers. Just recently, the Chicago Teachers Union came out saying that they oppose Trump's actions with Venezuela, right?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with teachers in Chicago when most of the students in that city cannot read and are not up to par on math, right? I mean, they should be focusing on helping those kids improve and making better opportunities for teachers to improve their own skills so that they can help these students. And, I mean, all that aside, they should be creating more school choices, right, for families in Chicago so they're not stuck with just assigned schools based on their zip code.
Yeah.
That should be the focus. And unions have been pushing these radical ideas for a long, long time, whether it's gender, whether it's race, whether it's Black Lives Matter. Teacher unions are among the biggest and loudest radical activists on the left.
Yeah, that is very true. Outside of the political ideology, in the last couple of minutes that we have here, John, are we coming to a head politically, ideologically in the nation? We have two polarizing views, so to speak, when it comes to conservative, traditional values, principles, limited government here in the nation. Then we have the Zoran Mamdani. We have the public and private unions, like you said, pushing for radicalization. Before we can finally start to, at least not the average American, but for these organizations, these political movements, for them to actually have a conversation again, are we going to need to come to a head and face off and figure out what direction we're going as a nation?
Well, I think we can use this year, because this is the 250th. We're going to be celebrating America's 250th this year. It's a great opportunity to talk about civics, not just in the classroom, but among Americans in general, right? And to recognize that America's legacy to the world, as well as to American citizens, is a place that has a self-correcting system when we have a law that is racist, right? When we had slavery in the U.S. or the Jim Crow era, right? Our self-correcting system sets us up now that we can create a better future for everybody, regardless of their skin color. And that's a great conversation to have in this 250th. And so I would encourage us to looking for ways to come together around our own past.
I really hope that. I want to see what we saw on September 12th, right? When we saw Americans come together, waving the American flag and showing how patriotic and how much they love this nation, which leads me to the last question for you, John, and I appreciate your time, is what is your message going into this year when we see the polarization, we see the hysteria, we see the fear-mongering all around us every single day? What can we do to try to ignore that, to try and correct the dialogue and have that basic conversation with our neighbors and friends?
Yeah, it doesn't represent the person down the street or sitting next to you in church or across the cubicle. I think it is a matter of us talking about America as a shared sense of national identity based around freedom and liberty. And America's 250th is a great time to be talking about that.
Let's make it happen. The Polarization Myth. Go check it out on Amazon, other places as well. John, we appreciate it, my friend. Happy New Year to you. It's going to be a great year with the 250th birthday of the nation. Got to get you back on and do it again soon, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet, John. We'll get you back on the show again real soon for sure. The identity politics not going away, unfortunately, anytime soon, but we can rid ourselves of it, of society. We can ignore the crazies that make this a focal point, and we can laugh in their face because we are humans, and we're going to bring back humanity in a generalized way. We are out of time, though. Back at it again before you know it. Until then, be your own voice of reason. Be that catalyst for change in your local community. We'll see you back on the radio here soon. Bye.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser.
One down.
Right, 1 hour down.
One to go.
To government.
Until you get us another hour, then we'll have 2 to go.
Content is fun.
And then if you get another hour, we'll have 3 to go.
Happy to say
We'll
that the
just pull
Hooser
a,
Media
Alex
Network
Jones
is
and do
giving
like
you
5
more
hours
opportunity to catch their great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for
That's very interesting stuff.
Is that the mainstream media absolutely hates, from holistic.
These days, it'd probably be interesting or be easy to cover 5 hours.
Entertainment shows, and of
Not a
course yours
shortage.
truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media. Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to the Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring the Voice of Reason live every day on their website at OpsLens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community.
Boom. All right. There's that.
Moments for reflection.
Yeah. So starting on Monday, we
Yes, sir.
We added Chicago, so that's exciting. That'll start on Monday.
You got San Antonio too, didn't you?
Yeah, San Antonio. We've had San Antonio for a while now, at least for this weekend show. So we've had them for the weekend show, but now we've added them for the weekday show. They're adding us in the evening.
Beautiful.
And actually, right now we are broadcasting on San Antonio's YouTube channel.
Oh my word! Wow.
Yeah, they give us access. They're picking it up on their end, but yeah, they're picking up the video feed to broadcast live on their YouTube channel on 9:30 The Answer TV on YouTube. So.
Whoa, that's awesome! I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
I did
exciting.
I did see some of that on Facebook. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we got that. But yeah, Chicago starting on Monday, and then they'll pick up the weekend show after football season because they carry a lot of the football stuff. So that's cool. And then we got some more that I think we'll announce here in the next few weeks. We have a new partner starting on Monday, and then that'll go for the next 2 months, I want to say, for health products. So yeah, we got some cool stuff going on, man.
That is so awesome. I'm so glad about that.
Heck yeah. It's going to be your most popular show you work with on the weekends.
Yeah, the other one decided to leave.
Which one?
The one I did on Sunday mornings left. They want to go into nothing but podcasting. They're done with the radio thing. They just want to try something different, which I get that.
Interesting.
Podcasting is something I really need to educate myself on. I know nothing about it.
It's a whole other beast, man.
It is.
It's a whole nother beast. We obviously put this show up on a podcast afterwards, but I don't know. It's a whole nother beast. I mean, there's everybody in their kitchen sink has a podcast, which is cool. You know, I'm glad. I mean, there's everybody's got an opinion and has a unique and interesting perspective on issues. So I encourage that. That's really cool. It's hard to stand out as a podcaster. And once we make the show our actual full-time gig, and you know, I step away from all the other radio stuff that I do throughout the week, then we'll probably end up doing this show and then like an actual podcast style, no, you know, radio commercial interruptions or anything, and just go straight podcasting and do that on the side along with this program. So
wow, that'd be cool right there.
Yeah, eventually we'll run out of things to say, I think. I mean, we have to, right?
I don't know. I think you're going to have Trump out of office and a president that just isn't very controversial.
I guess.
Because it seems like every time he's in office, it gets so controversial. Everything that Trump derangement syndrome is crazy.
Right, no doubt.
I know people that have it too. Wow.
Yes. Yep.
Did you see that clip? I think it was on Fox News of where he kind of got up out of his seat to see where the ballroom was going to be. Trump just acted like he wasn't interested. He just gets up and goes looks at the ballroom. I thought, wow, look at him.
I know that dude, man. He's on his old new level. He just does whatever the heck he wants.
Yes, he does.
It's hilarious. He just goes off and like, hold on, guys. We're just gonna look out the window and just reflect for a moment.
And then to watch Rubio just pass him notes on what's going on.
Yeah, no doubt. What do we got? All right, we got about a minute and a half here. Oh, good. We got some people on the website there. We have some people on the streams.
Your SRM
That's a beautiful thing.
in 60 seconds.
All right, coming up, hour number 2. We're going to get there. We haven't talked about it the first hour. We're going to go there, Nan. We're going to talk about the protesters. We're going to talk about the shooting in Minneapolis, the response from Democratic elected officials, also an ongoing potential regime change in Iran right now. That's happening as we speak. And we'll talk with Jacob Coleman. He's the state director for Americans for Prosperity in the state of Minnesota. What's going on with boots on the ground? We'll get to all that and more. So if you are on the video streams, like it out, share it out on your own page. Say hi, leave a comment, do your thing, man. Let's generate some activity, have some fun. for your hour number dose of the program. Hang tight. Here we go.
Your SRM program begins in 10 seconds. Your SRM program will begin in 5, 4.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, in the Hooser Media Network studios, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Why, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser, broadcasting right here in the Hooser Media Network studios in Wichita, Kansas, right smack dab in the heart of the nation. We are all over the country on so many great radio affiliates across the nation. Welcome aboard, doing our thing.
We'll do it live!
Like we do every single weekend here on the programs. Back into it. First and foremost, pat yourself on the back. You made it the first full work week of 2026. I know it's a hard one to get back into the swing of things and trying to get your work schedule back. You were probably exhausted by like Wednesday. I get it, but now you're here and you can enjoy it. We'll keep you entertained for the next little bit. We got a lot to get to today. If you want to find more information on the show, go to our website, HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. You can subscribe to our newsletter, which comes out the first Monday of every single month. If you have not signed up for it, the hell's taking you so long, man? Go and check it out. It's completely free, and we look forward to seeing you on there. Also, our social media, which is the same handle, at Hooser Reason. And if you want the podcast of this program, any of our weekday programs, and more, you can just go to our website or find it on any of your favorite podcasting sites by just typing in The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Subscribe to it. A lot of people are. Thank you. We wrapped up last year with a lot of downloads. Growing year over year by about 40% on the amount of downloads, and winning some great awards for conservative podcasts in the nation. So thank you for that. We appreciate it very much. All right, we got a big hour for you. Bottom of the hour, we have Jacob Coleman on the program. He is the state director for Americans for Prosperity, our great partners on the program with AFP, and he is the state director for the state of Minnesota. Yeah, we're going there, man. We're going to talk about the protests. We'll talk about the fraud with the Somali population. We'll talk about the shooting that we saw with ICE that's led to the ongoing protests that are still ongoing right now in the state of Minneapolis. In fact, I had just seen a headline before we came on that Ilhan Omar, who's under investigation for fraud, potentially, that she's leading protesters in Minneapolis right now. Shocker? Probably not. Probably not too shocked about that one, but she's leading some of the protests in Minneapolis after the shooting that happened with an ICE officer. Now, I want to be first and foremost, what was it, Thursday? Friday? Maybe it was Thursday, where Kristi Noem, our Department of Homeland Security, made the statement that it was Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and now more than ever, probably need to take some time to appreciate law enforcement because of what they're going through. And yes, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, they are law enforcement. They are doing federal operations. They are federal law enforcement, and you treat them just as you do any other cop or any other law enforcement in your community. That's just the way it is. And I'm throwing it out there. This may be controversial. Blocking traffic with your vehicle is obstructing law enforcement from doing their operation. If they're driving to a location to get somebody, if they're driving away from somewhere with somebody, that is a federal operation. Blocking their road with a vehicle is against the law. Stopping and blocking traffic in general by just parking, perpendicular against the road to block traffic is against the law. Dave, I could be wrong on that one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's against the law. So what we saw with the headline of the weekend,
it's your week in review,
was someone who apparently is this lovey-dovey, wonderful mother, someone who is just a bright spot for the community, just a shining beacon of hope and happiness and eternal optimism that was, blocking traffic. Law enforcement went to go and knock on her door, tried to get her out because they've had enough. She was sitting there. A new video, by the way, has surfaced that's online this weekend where you can see from an apartment building or something that was watching the whole thing. She was sitting there just railing on her horn the entire time while parked perpendicular on the road, blocking all this traffic. Then she backed up a little bit to allow other vehicles to go through. She was still blocking law enforcement and ICE. They went to her vehicle. She begins to drive and pull away. She hits a guy where they open fire and kill her. It's a very tragic, it's a very unfortunate event, and just as conservatives, we don't want anybody to die. We don't want to see death. We now do not want to see children without their mother, regardless of whether she was a good mother, bad mother, does not matter. She was a mother of 2 or 3 children, whatever, and she's now dead. Guess what? Completely avoidable situation. I know, Andy, if they just didn't open fire and shoot her. Wait a second. Can we back up just for a moment? Before the split-second decision of her pulling away with a guy firing, can we just stop and ask the simple question? Dave, jump on here for a moment. Let me ask you the simple question. What was she doing there in the first place? And was that avoidable in the first place to have her even in that position to begin with? I would think that that would be a time where you're like, yeah, maybe you're not there. Here's a wild idea. Let law enforcement do their job. Here's an idea. Don't be obstructing law enforcement. Pure, end of simple, done, end of story. That's all you need to know. And during military or law enforcement appreciation that we saw earlier this week, I got to give credit. I don't know how law enforcement does it sometimes because I'm a nice guy. I have a lot of patience. I usually don't get fired up and worked up on a lot of issues. People ask still why I'm even involved in politics because I'm too nice sometimes. But when stupid people do stupid things, I have a very short patience. And I don't know how many law enforcement do it. There was a guy that was warning a person trying to do the same thing now. Hey, you might want to stop.
If I continually see you following us, interfering with us, honking your horn, blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a really bad decision and being arrested today, okay?
I think I'm making exactly the right decision.
Oh, then why are you giving her a warning? I'm giving her a warning to not interfere with what we're doing, to not make a bad decision today and ruin your life.
Whoa, bad decisions.
Thank you.
That's funny coming from you.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Have a good day.
I hope you have a terrible day.
Okay, thank you.
I hope you have a terrible day. This is the snootiness. People are just jerks, man. I tell you what, there's a whole generation. The wife and I were laughing about this a couple of nights ago. There's just a whole generation that never got spanked as a kid. I mean, that's just really what it is. They are snotty. They are just entitled. They're brats. They are the generation that got everything they wanted as a kid. Their parents never told them no, and now they feel like they're entitled to do anything they want. Here's the wild concept. There's this wild thing in the world called action and reaction, cause and effect, action and the results of that action. And if you're belligerent, if you cause issues, if you cause riots, if you attack law enforcement, if you impede the operation of law enforcement, that results in you getting arrested. And for the snotty, entitled jerkiness type of mentality, I don't have patience for that. I would have drug her out of the vehicle and arrested her there on the spot. That's just me. I have a short patience for that type of just jerkiness. Be nice to human beings. But these people are vile, man. Absolutely nasty. I hate it. Here's the other thing. Then we go from Minnesota in Minneapolis, where we're seeing Ilhan Omar actually lead some of these protests even this weekend as we speak. I want to go to Portland, Oregon for just a moment, because Portland, Oregon now has had a shooting of, again, ICE, of 2 individuals that have now died, where there have been confirmed that they are a part of the, the Tren de Aragua, the TDA, the Tren de Aragua cartel gang. And yet, even with the tie to a Central American cartel gang that's very violent, you had the police chief of Portland, Oregon, tearing up in the middle of the press conference being, I'm so sorry, Hispanic community. I tried to listen to you, but they were tied to the gang. There's nothing we could do.
I want to speak for just a moment specifically to my Latino community.
Like, he's tearing up right now. He can't maintain himself. That's why he stopped.
I'm sorry. It saddens me that we even have to qualify these remarks, because I understand, or at least have attempted to understand through your voices, your concern, your fear, your anger. This information in no way is meant to disparage or to condone or support or agree with any of the actions that occurred yesterday.
Okay, hold on. I can't do this, man. This is insane. I'm trying to put this into perspective. The police chief of Portland, Oregon, who is reporting on the shooting of 2 individuals from ICE, because remember, ICE is the most evil, horrible people. They are the Gestapo of the Trump administration. They're the Nazis that are imposing the fascist takeover of this nation. That's the mindset the media's portrayed. That's the mindset the Democrats have portrayed. That's the mindset the progressive left has portrayed. And that's why they think that even as a mother who's supposed to be taking care of her kids that ended up dying, thought that she was some wicked, wild freedom fighter by honking her horn and being belligerent to law enforcement. And that's why we're seeing it more now. That's why law enforcement and ICE cannot do an operation now in this nation in certain parts, because you have these belligerent, quote-unquote, ICE watchers that follow them, blare their horns, and try to warn people that ICE is coming because they want to protect criminal rapists, drug dealers, human traffickers, gang members, cartel members from leaving the community because they're such wonderful members of the community that they don't want ICE to be there because, again, ICE is the Gestapo and the Nazis imposing Donald Trump's will. That's the world that we're living in. And it blows my mind. My brain hurts trying to process all this with how stupid they are, because law enforcement should be, hey, you're breaking the law, you're going to get arrested, period, end of story. And for the police chief of Portland, Oregon, to be like in tears, literally, he's got the dabs, like dabbing his eyes because he's so sad, tearing up, like, this is not condoning what happened with law enforcement, with ICE shooting them, but whatsoever. We've listened to the community. We're trying to be there for the Hispanic community. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. They were, but he did confirm later on, and we'll play this in a minute, that they were part of the trendy or whatever that is, the TDA cartel group, and they got into a shootout with law enforcement. And he should be up there being like, hey, these are not good members of our community. We should have taken care of them long ago. We didn't take care of them long ago. They were a member of a very dangerous, very violent, very belligerent cartel from Central America. We needed to take them out. Thank God ICE was here to take care of that. And let's make our streets safer for all communities, including the Hispanic community. Maybe even if we don't want all the illegals that are just here working in a store behind the scenes, not causing any issues with the community, we don't want them to go, but we want the bad guys to go. Instead, the head of police, bawling on TV, having to give this report that 2 people died because they were gang members fighting and shooting out against ICE.
I want to speak for just a moment specifically to my Latino community.
So sad. So sad.
It saddens me that we even have to qualify these remarks, because I understand, or at least have attempted to understand through your voices, your concern, your fear, your anger. This information in no way is meant to disparage or to condone or support or agree with any of the actions that occurred yesterday. But it is important that we stay committed to the rule of law, that we stay committed to the facts, that we stay a trustworthy and legitimate police department for all of Portlanders.
I can't anymore. Trying to justify it, sobs, and then, well, we just have to be transparent and we have to let you know what's going on. Yes, they were gang members and cartel members. It's wild to me. My brain hurts thinking how in the world we got to a point when even law enforcement has been so corrupted in particular areas of this country where they don't want to enforce the law and they feel guilty about bad guys that are going down because the bad guys are fighting against law enforcement when they get captured, and we try to get them off the streets. That's the world the progressives have created, and I don't know how they come back from that, because that is not a winning platform for the midterm elections in 2026. We got lots more coming up. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th
Blows
century.
my mind, man.
We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com and use the promo code REASON. Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
It's America's political therapist. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, it is great to have you here. Your political therapist, therapying you on a weekend basis. Always great to have you. If you want more information on the show, again, go to our website, HooserReason.com, our podcast at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser, or our website and social media with the same handle at Hooser Reason, HOOSER Reason. So real quick, by the way, we'll get back to the fraud in the Minnesota area, the ongoing protests right now, both in Minneapolis and in Portland, Oregon, and other places around the country. We'll get back to that in a minute. The lawlessness that the left has created, the entitlement mentality the left has created, and somehow they think that's going to be some winning success in the midterms. I got to admit, this is my prediction here on the program. That's a major failure. Not going to work out too well. The childlike behavior of the left is just really unfortunate. And these are adults. These are voting adults in America, which is wild. But there is some news going on this weekend.
What's trending today?
And I'd be remiss if I didn't cover this because this is really exciting. While we're seeing radicalism try to fester in the United States, other nations recognize it and want to kill it off and stifle it. There's a revolution going on in Iran right now. And I think we should take a moment to applaud it. We should watch it. This stemmed from, if you remember a few months ago, when Donald Trump bombed that nuclear site in Iran and said, we're not doing a long-term conflict. We're not getting involved with the military-industrial complex. We're going to go in. We're going to drop a few bombs. Boom, done. We're out. That's over. Since then, they've not attacked Israel. We've had a ceasefire between the nations. But after that happened, the people of Iran were like, wait a second. That really didn't take a whole lot. We could probably do something like that. And they talked about wanting to topple over that regime and get rid of the Ayatollah. They were talking about trying to get rid of the Islamic radicalism in that nation and actually bring back Iran to what it was. Their culture in Iran's beautiful. Their culture in Iran's really cool. They had some really great culture in art and educational places. Women could do stuff there. They could live as actual human beings. It was an amazing place. And then radicalism took hold, and we turned it into what Donald Trump calls the FCC, not appropriated words here on the program, type of country, and they're trying to take it back. So now we're seeing Iranians rise up, and I will give Donald Trump credit for this because of what he did in that nation that sparked the interest of maybe we can do something. And with the ceasefire that was set between Iran and Israel, the Iranian people openly said, we do not want war with Israel. They're our brothers and sisters. Yeah, they have some Jews there. We don't really care. We used to get along fine. There's no problem here whatsoever. We don't want war with Israel, and we agree with the ceasefire. Now we're seeing it. Headlines that we're seeing this week and pictures all over the place. One of the coolest pictures I think I've ever seen is one of the Iranian women, not in the hijab, not in all the garb. She's dressed as almost like a Westerner, jeans, jacket, whatever, and lighting the picture of the leader on fire and then lighting a cigarette off of that flame. That to me, that is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen. Well, winning. Yeah, well done on that one. That was really neat. And I wish that there was more of that mentality here in the United States when they say we're not going to tolerate the whininess of the left side of the aisle. But what they're doing right now, toppling over that regime, is them. It's not us. It's them saying we've had enough. Donald Trump showed us that it can be done. He created the ceasefire. They're weak right now. They're scared of the United States. Now is our time to take advantage of this, and it's time for us to carpe diem all over, man. I'm excited, and I can't wait to see what happens with Iran. However, according to thesun.com, we are seeing this weekend that Iran has now activated, quote, missile cities over the death to dictator uprising as the regime's blackout sparks fears of a massacre. So the military may be activated now. I would say if you're a praying person, thoughts and prayers to the Iranian people, as we could see an uprising of the military that could stifle out this revolution. But they have burnt government buildings in multiple different towns across the nation of Iran. They are trying to topple over this regime. They are saying enough's enough. We're not going to live under this radicalism any longer. And the government may activate the military. They're looking at missile cities. They're activating the military. They're blacking out the internet, which means we don't get a whole lot of updates. If they do that, we may not know what's going on behind the scenes. So thoughts and prayers to the Iranian people. You can do it. Let's work together, topple that regime, bring back democracy, and bring back freedom. That's what it's all about, baby.
The voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Andy's latest product.
The Hispanic community is radically diverse in the United States. Some would say as unique and diverse as the food they eat.
The diversity of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
And now you can enjoy the flavor and diversity that every member of the Hispanic community gets to enjoy every single day. Jill Biden's very all-new breakfast taco special from the Voice of Reason.
Hola amigos, I'm Adan, your Jill Biden breakfast taco. Now you too can enjoy the unique, diverse flavors of Mexico and Latin American with me.
Adon the Breakfast Taco has everything a growing boy, girl, undecided, or other may need.
Start off with a thick layer of potato seasoned with fresh and delicate spices of Mexico and cooked to perfection.
The potatoes show not only are we tough on the outside, but soft and lovable.
It does not seem like we've got 30 minutes left.
Enjoy the two large huevos. No breakfast
gone really fast.
At our famous huevos. They are there for all to enjoy.
I think it is.
What comes next in the delicacies is the true sign of diversity and uniqueness in the culture, as there are just too many options.
I hope the listeners feel the same way.
Sada?
So they stay tuned.
Bacon. Vegetarian, the choices are endless. We have a flavor for everyone, but you won't know if you like it until you try it, and we like it all.
Finally, your Jill Biden Adon Breakfast Taco is always personalized.
So are you on any FM stations? Or is it all AM?
Found in the ever-expanding diverse culture of Latin America.
Top me off with your favorite great-tasting cheese, sour cream, or gravy. But don't forget, what sets your breakfast taco apart from breakfast taco is a little spice.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big blowtorch out there in Daytona.
Forget the salsa from the supermarket. It's time to...
I don't know. That's one of the changes that I kind of question about this thing. Is AM going to be the thing that completely goes away? Because you see that they can't really sell them anymore because they're not really worth that much anymore. I don't know where it's going to go, but it's interesting.
Unique diversity with your very own Jill Biden Breakfast Burrito from the Voice of Reason.
Order now and multiply your diversity with two.
That's true.
All for the price of one.
It's the Voice of Reason's Jill Biden Breakfast Taco. Are you diverse enough?
That's very true.
To a restaurant near you.
Ándale, ándale.
I agree with you, but I'm a radio geek. So that's my problem with saying anything.
Andy's.
I love radio.
Find more products from the Voice of Reason online at Hooser Reason.
I am.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Are you still battling COVID-19? Wanting to find ways to limit your exposure to viruses that kill off humanity?
All the humanity.
Now you can. It's time for you to get the all-new Voice of Reason product, the CDC Rona Fan. The CDC Rona Fan is not like your everyday ordinary fan. The CDC Rona Fan is the latest in technology that uses the unique and original purification process called the breath of Fauci. And it's simple to use.
Oh my gosh, I just got my CDC Rona Fan and it's perfect. I can feel the COVID particles disintegrating out of the air in my home. And even though it's wintertime, I just open my window wide open, I'll slide my CDC Rona Fan right in, crank it up to full blast, and now I can have as many people over for the holidays as I want. And I'll never have to worry about transferring the virus to anybody. Just feeling the chill in the air, I know now that I'll never get sick again. Thanks, Rona Fan.
The CDC Rona Fan kills the Ronavirus at the same rate of any immunity your body can build. And it comes in all shapes and sizes to best fit your preferred personal identity and housing decor.
My mommy and daddy got the Fauci fan yesterday. They opened up all the windows of the house and put the fan in every one of them. They said it would make me nice and healthy. I can't feel my toes because it's so cold now, but they told me now that the Donald Trump virus won't kill me. They must be right when they tell me to listen to the government and do everything that they tell me to.
Order now and for a limited time, get an additional CDC Rona Fan half off. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you'll also receive the CDC-approved Fauci bobblehead. Scare off deadly viruses just by placing your Fauci totem in each room. Battle the Rona with freedom and Fauci-controlled options with your Voice of Reason CDC Rona Fan.
When reason meets radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, welcome back to the program. Great to have you as we're moving through the weekend edition of your Voice of Reason. Don't want to waste any time. As you know, we've been covering some of the protests going on, the George Floyd protest 2.0. What the heck's going on up in the state of Minnesota as we go into now legislative session, midterm elections? Is there an opportunity, the bright end of the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel? Could we see some reforms going on in the state? I'm the eternal optimist. I say we could always see that opportunity, but that's where we go to with our next guest on the program.
Let's go to the Hooser Media Hotline.
Really happy to have on. He is the state director for our friends over at Americans for Prosperity for the great state of Minnesota. Happy to have on here Mr. Jacob Coleman. Jake, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. First, I have to ask you, what the heck's going up in Minnesota, man? We have the shooting, we have protesters, we have fraud that I think we've just kind of tipped the iceberg of. What are you guys dealing with up there right now?
I know we're only a few days in, a week into 2026, but it feels like it's been about 6 months here. Every day when you think this has got to be it, something worse or something crazier happens.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate. First, let's go to what happened this week with the shooting with the ICE individuals, more ICE agents moving up to the state of Minnesota, trying to bring out, again, not the regular illegal immigrants, but criminals trying to get some of the crime off the streets. We have protesters nonstop, and in fact, now it's led to the governor saying that it is the patriotic duty of residents of Minnesota to continue to protest to ICE agents, and we have the city mayor of Minneapolis now telling ICE to get out of the city. I mean, policy-wise here, Jacob, I know with AFP you guys are trying to get boots on the ground, get people energized for the midterm elections, trying to educate people on certain policy. This is kind of an interesting look for the state and for the city right now when this is what officials and leaders of the community are advocating people to do.
Yeah, first of all, let me just say what happened with that young woman losing her life was an absolute tragedy.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances should anyone ever be killed, especially in a situation like this. But I think the important thing to remember is how we got here. And we got here, and this really translates back to everything else that we're going to talk about. We got here with a failure of leadership, an abdication of responsibility of people who are more interested in pushing harmful rhetoric than they are finding actual solutions that help make the lives of everyday Minnesotans and the citizens of our country better.
Yeah.
And that's really what this comes down to. When you start calling people Nazis and Gestapo, you're asking for people to take rash or reckless actions. When this tragedy occurred, the first thing the mayor does is scream profanity. It just is a failure of leadership on every level.
Yeah.
And I think it's really a reflection of where the Democrat Party in Minnesota is today, whether it's the governor, the mayor, or attorney general, or the Democrat leaders in the state legislature.
Yeah, it's a really great point. And as you talk about the failed leadership, it seems like an issue for a while. I would think most of the country would look at the state of Minnesota and say outside of the Twin Cities, it would be a relatively rural community, a relatively red state for the most part. But how in the world, let's go back to the beginning here, Jake, how did we get the type of leaders that we're seeing in the state of Minnesota right now?
Sure, that's a great question. And what I'll tell you is, if you take a look at it, we are really a purple, maybe right-leaning, maybe slightly blue state. And you can tell that by looking at our state legislature. Our House of Representatives is tied, 67-67, Republicans and Democrats. In the Senate, the Democrats have a one-seat majority. This is a state that is as close to 50-50 as you can possibly get. With that being said, in the heavy population centers like the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and St. Paul, there are, thousands or tens of thousands of votes that come out that can sometimes push the top of the ticket in a certain direction. And that's kind of how we got there. In 2023, we had an election or in 2022 for the 2023 legislative cycle, we had an election where Democrats took full control of the state of Minnesota.
Wow.
And that's how we got to some of the places with some of the policy that we're going to talk about. Now, as for the fraud itself, this goes back way further.
Yeah.
Democrats have been in charge of statewide offices for nearly 20 years here. And this fraud is not something that just started occurring. And what we're seeing now goes way deeper than what's been currently brought. I mean, we have, we started to really uncover it during the Feeding Our Future scandal, which was the government and the state and federal government paid $250 million to people that were stealing money, claiming they were feeding children. And when you went to a site visit to see a building or a place that was claiming to feed, 10,000 children a day, it was a one-room apartment on a second floor with no windows.
Wow.
And the fact that no one chose to ever go and look at these places to see, hey, that's a lot of kids that you're feeding, and where are they coming from? And this all happened during COVID and after COVID. The fact that no one in leadership took the time to go look at these places and just do a simple site visit is really representative of how we got to where we are now, and the stuff you're seeing on the news with the daycare center and the autism centers and the transportation and whatever else they're going to begin to uncover. The U.S. Federal prosecutor in Minnesota alleged that there's probably up to $9 billion of fraud. And again, that's just what we found so far.
Right.
This is going to get way worse before it gets better.
And for what it sounds like, it's not even that hard to find. Like you said, you guys exposing it by just saying, hey, all this money's pumping into this particular office where these activities are supposed to be happening. These activities don't look like they're happening. Maybe we should look into this a bit deeper.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Before Democrats took over at the end of 2022, when Republicans controlled the state Senate and there was a check on the Democratic power, we had an $18 billion surplus. You get to the end of 2023, they spent the entire $18 billion surplus. They've raised taxes over $10 billion. And then you get coming into 24, and we find out there's going to be a $6 billion budget deficit. Just the out-of-control spending has put the state in a very precarious position. The mandates that they put on schools have caused almost every school in the state, every school district in the state, to say that they're going to be short on money and they needed to raise property taxes in order to cover that deficit on top of what has already occurred. It's been an absolute abysmal style of leadership and planning that we've seen from Democrats who are in control.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. We're talking with Jacob Coleman. He's the state director for our friends over at Americans for Prosperity for the state of Minnesota. Let's talk about some of that policy and what you guys can do about that. Obviously, with AFP focusing the majority of your attention on outreach and the policy battles going on in the state. What's the response right now, do you think, from the boots on the ground to people in the state of Minnesota? You mentioned education and trying to raise property taxes, trying to raise different taxes to fund more educational programs. Here in Kansas in the last year, we've had roughly 12 different school bonds in different communities around the state, and every one of them have failed because people are tired of their property taxes continuously going up. No transparency on where this money's going or why we continue to ask for more money in these school districts. Are you starting to get the same response in Minnesota right now?
Yeah, that is what's occurring. You've seen a couple different levies fail, some passed, but there were probably over 30 that occurred here across the state of Minnesota just in this last November, with places reporting that they were going to not be able to meet their budget, or they were going to have budget shortfalls and forced for layoffs. The problem is what occurred during the legislative cycle in 2023, because there were so many unfunded mandates pushed down from the Democrat-controlled legislature and state government that it put these schools in a position where they could not do what the state was asking of them.
Right.
And, what we're trying to do here at Americans for Prosperity is we're trying to make this more transparent, to show how we're getting our communities put in these situations. It's one of the things that, we do best. We're one of the largest grassroots organizations in the country, and particularly here in the state of Minnesota. So what we do best is we're on the ground. We go door to door. We talk to our friends and neighbors in all of these communities where we can have the largest impact, have a conversation, and show them here's what's happened, here's what's being done, and here are some things that we can do to make it better.
Right. It's what we need to do, and I'm glad you guys are working on that one. What's the plan now that we're seeing this become national news and more people paying attention to the state of Minnesota, particularly with the daycares, with this fraud that's going on, and since you guys have been trying to expose this for a while, what's the next step to take it to the people, to the voters of Minnesota, to say, hey, we need to do some major reforms and maybe even cut back on some of these social programs?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I want to say that this is not the end. There's more coming. They just started a new paid family leave program here. And I totally understand the thought of people that we need to, protect families. And if we want to be a pro-family party and we want to be a pro-family country, that we need to give people the opportunity to be at home and raise their kids or take care of sick loved ones.
Yeah.
The problem with the one here in Minnesota is every single person in the state is granted the ability to take 20 weeks off of work that will be paid for by this program, and they just need a doctor's note. And it can be any doctor from anywhere in the world that says they're going to be taking care of this person. And on top of that, say you have a sick loved one, you can have everyone in your entire family or close friends, because it's not limited to just family, take time off to care for that one sick person. The problem is, with what we've seen here in Minnesota and the amount of fraud that we've seen from certain communities, the ability for this program to be significantly abused is going to be out of control.
Wow. It's so sad. And I'm assuming that there's a large portion of the population that just blindly supports it. It's a social program. They go into the disguise of it's going to help individuals, so they just kind of go along with it without asking any other questions, don't they?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. All they're told is, look, we're going to help people. We're going to become a more family-friendly state. But you have to ask questions deeper and say, well, how are we doing this? How does this program work? Does it even work? Is there a better way?
Yeah.
And I think without having those conversations, and they were never had, if they were immediately shut down because radical groups were pushing their agendas down at the state capitol. We're put in a position now where things are going to go probably very, very badly for this program.
What a wild time. Jake, hang on the line. We got to take a break. It is Jake Coleman. He is the state director for Americans for Prosperity for the state of Minnesota. We'll continue this conversation, what to look forward to in the state for the midterm elections and more when we come back here for the Voice of Reason.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, DC's broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
When it comes to something like sausage, I know you want the best quality, the best flavor, and the best in services. Andy Hooser here for J&S Smoked Snacks. And it's time for you to try their handcrafted sausage, made in small batches for freshness and seasoned with their signature blends. You won't find anything else like it. Make sure to try their one-of-the-kind dill pickle sausage made with real pickles, or spice things up with my favorite, the jalapeno cheddar sausage. Taste the difference today at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
For more information, go to takeonesmallstep.com. Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all the social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more. We have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
Talk radio for the next generation. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, welcome back. We got a few minutes left as we wrap things up for this hour of the program for your weekend edition of The Voice of Reason. Again, if you want more information or you want to rehear these programs, make sure to go to our podcast at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. And, of course, the links are on our website at HooserReason.com. We're hanging out with Jacob Coleman. He is the State Director for Americans for Prosperity, our great partners here on the show. For the state of Minnesota. Let's go to the legislative session, officially kicking off for the new year across the nation and all the different states. For you guys, policy-wise, what's the focus for AFP in Minnesota for the state? Is it transparency, focusing on wasteful spending, getting rid of some of this fraud, working on leadership? What's the priority for you guys as you go into your session?
I think that if we're not focused on fraud, we're not doing our job. If this session is not 100% focused on fraud, no one is doing their job. Until we get that under control, we shouldn't be doing anything else. And what we're going to do from our side is we're going to activate community members for the state legislators to come and talk to them and say, look, this is how it's affecting me. This is how my business is being affected. This is how my property taxes have gone up. This is why I can't afford to put food on my table, or I can't afford to pay my mortgage. This is how you are affecting me. And I think that's how you can be most effective when you're talking to people at the state legislatures, bringing their constituents to them and letting them tell their story.
Yeah, it's a really great point. Now, on the other front of it, we're going further into the year for the midterm elections, 2026. What should be the priority or the focus there? Is it finding some better candidates and trying to get some new leaders in there? Is it trying to just expose what's going on there again? But what's the priority? What are you guys getting ready for the big midterm elections?
So this year in Minnesota, every constitutional office, from governor to secretary of state to attorney general, is up for election. We have a Senate seat up for election and the entire state legislature. So there is opportunity for real wholesale change here.
Wow.
And it's going to be done on two fronts. Obviously, we have to make sure that we have good candidates that can clearly communicate a message about how they're going to work to make the people of Minnesota's lives better. And the second thing that we have to do is we got to realize that the fraud and the problems that we were experiencing in Minnesota don't stop with the governor now that he's not running. This is pervasive. This is because every single member of the Democrat Party here in Minnesota has been pushing these programs, has been pushing this violent rhetoric that has got us in a very dangerous position and got us in a very bad financial position for the state.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like you guys have the opportunity right now. With all the news, people are very upset, those that are not receiving said social programs that are getting all this money fraudulently, even in many cases, that this is the prime opportunity to show people what's going on, the direction that you have been going on, and now is the perfect opportunity to do a major turnaround.
Absolutely. What we have in front of us is a very unique opportunity. I think for the first time ever, you can really see what happens when you have bad policy put in place. and the things that can happen to a state and to its budget. And now with that opportunity, it's up to us to take advantage of it and make some real changes. Put in place people who are willing to make hard decisions, who are willing to do the right thing, and willing to work to put our state in a better place.
Yeah. With Governor Tim Walz now stepping down and not wanting to run for re-election, obviously, because I have an inkling that he's going to be kind of the fall guy on this one. But what does the governor's candidates look like in the state of Minnesota? I'm guessing that there's a laundry list of Democrats thinking they can run away with it again. But do you have some good viable candidates? And I know we got to go through a primary process, but how's that shaping up to look like for the year?
Yeah, there are a lot of Republicans running for governor. Quite a few people relish the opportunity to have this discussion with Tim Walz. While I'm glad he's stepping down because of the terrible job that he's done, I'm disappointed that we won't get to hold him accountable at the polls. So we do have some good candidates, though, on the Republican side, and I think if we put forward a good candidate, we have an opportunity. On the Democrat side, we have a very popular U.S. Senator, Amy Klobuchar, who is considering running. She would be very challenging to defeat. She's very well liked. And doesn't often take a bad position on hard issues. Usually likes to stick to some of the easier ones that don't cause any controversy.
Sure.
But that said, running for governor is very different than running for U.S. Senate. And you're going to be asked different questions. You're going to have better answers, and you're going to have some solid plans because at the end of the day, you're the one in charge.
Yeah. That's it. It's an entirely different scenario there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one shapes up this year for sure. The prime opportunity. And wouldn't it be wild to see Minnesota flip back to a hard red state, at least for this election, and really shake things up for the Democrats moving forward, especially into the ever-renowned 2028 upcoming presidential election again. It is Jacob Coleman, State Director for the state of Minnesota. Keep up the fight, my friend. It's a huge year for you guys. I'm so glad that you're up there fighting hard. We got to get you back on for another update soon, my friend.
Love to do that. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, you betcha. We'll do it again soon. Jacob Coleman, State Director for Americans for Prosperity up in the state of Minnesota, obviously where all the eyes have been across the nation these past couple of weeks, and hopefully we can see some of the changes happen relatively soon. Again, being the eternal optimist, I see some changes happening relatively soon. Maybe Tim Walz not even lasting as long as he thinks. But we're out of time for this hour. We'll be back at it again before you know it. Until then, be your own voice of reason. Be that catalyst for change. I'm Andy Hooser. It is the Voice of Reason. We'll see you back on the radio. Bye.
Well, all right, that does it.
Here we are, man. Just like
Hey,
that.
it's Andy Hooser. You know what?
Just like that. All right, well, I will. I'll talk to you next week unless you have other plans.
Actual content is far from over.
All right, I'll talk to you then. Have a good one.
Hooser Media Network is giving you
All right, thanks.
Catch the Voice of Reason along with other great shows and podcasts.